So it's day 37. I say day 37, 38. I feel like every video sounds the same now. Today, honestly, I don't know what to talk about. I'm just gonna, I mean, some of these videos are kind of like planned in advance. I have a few bullet points. Other times, I literally just start the recording and I'm like, okay, I'll just talk. And I'm quite good at talking, so luckily that works. But, okay, so, yeah, it's Sunday today. It's currently 12:30. I'm sorting the schedule out. I did just watch the Seattle Seahawks match. Although some people will sit here and be like, oh, why are you watching sports? You can't watch sports, can't do this, can't do this. I understand that. I understand sports are a waste of time. If you look at it from exterior, perspective, sports literally do nothing towards your life in any regard. But nor do movies, nor does doing anything in your life, like just anything. If you look at it like that, I mean, obviously experiences of traveling, yeah, cool. I mean, you're traveling, but it's just an enjoyment kind of thing that you look forward to, right? As long as you're not fucking sitting there watching YouTube video highlights, everything, every single day, how to optimize your fantasy team, all this shit. As long as you're just like, okay, on a Sunday night, I'm going to watch the Seahawks game. Or on a Saturday, I'm watching Leicester play because I'm a Leicester fan in the UK. I mean, it's like 2 hours on a Saturday, 3 hours with Red Zone. It's a bit longer on a Sunday. But other than that, I don't watch sports outside of that. So, yeah, I'm going to get that off my chest real quick. In other news, today I still sat here and I've accumulated 540 leads in the last week since Tuesday I started of brands. That's just brands. That's not influencers. So yeah, it's good. We'll go again tomorrow. I need to move up actually. But yeah, that was good. Obviously, as I say, the most valuable thing I can do at the moment is outreaching. Everything on the back end sorted. It's literally just outreaching and bringing in clients and going from there. So do that. There's also other things I want to work on. What I'm going to work on is the stuff that's kind of expected of me, like non-negotiables. The non-negotiables, I get them done first. So that's like lead sourcing. That's going to the gym, get it all out of the way, and then for the rest of the day, I can kind of like not necessarily chill, but chill knowing that everything I do is on my shoulders, and then I can just focus and hone in on that with no kind of obligation to anyone else. And I've done everything that's obligated to everyone else, so like fulfillment, whatever it may be. But after I do the things that are important and need to be done, then I can chill knowing that I've done everything that's kind of important of let's say deep work, including the gym. And then after that, I can kind of like be like, okay, I can do this. This is productive. I can read a book. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. The things that are like valuable after that. But obviously, I do the most important tasks, the non-negotiables first, and then after that, I can do creating. I don't know, stuff like any other side hustles you want to do on the side. If you think of it like that, like you have your 9 to 5 job, and then after 5 o'clock, then you do your kind of like side hustles kind of thing. It's the same idea, but with my company and then other things, right? So. Yeah, it's basically that. That's what I'm kind of working on. I woke up at 9:30 this morning. I've never wanted to get out of bed less, but because I was obliged by someone else to be at the gym at the same time as them, of course I had to get up. So what I've learned, although I already knew this and everyone else knows this, you feel like shit when you first wake up, and there's nothing you want less than to get out of bed. But give it 15-20 minutes. When you're awake, I've literally been awake since that time. I was probably on like 5.5 hours sleep. It's bad, I know, but since that time, I've just been awake because my body's kind of been like, okay, I'm awake now. I'm awake. I've seen sunlight. Okay, that must be time to be in an awake state rather than sleepy state, which I'm somewhat in now. Yeah, if you're wondering why my camera's like so orange sometimes, it's because I have blue light blocking filters on my screens and it emits onto my face, hence why it's orange, because it's orange rather than, let's say, blue light. But yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna make sure I get 8 hours sleep because I did a fucking big workout this morning. I did chest, biceps, triceps and shoulders all in one session. So Obviously, some people will probably do that standard. But I mean, I did 3 sets of everything. So we're talking 3 sets of biceps, 3 sets of triceps, 3 sets of chest, and 3 sets of shoulders. So pretty decent workout, to which I need to, not because I'm tired, I'm not actually like aching or anything, but I know I need to get sleep to kind of like actually get the gains that I'm trying to get and maximize the gains, because sleep is like the most important thing you can do. So obviously I'm going to sleep. I'm going to make sure I get 8 hours. I'm just going to record this as quick as I can. As soon as I finish this, brush my teeth, I'm in bed. Yeah, just obviously get ready for bed and then go to bed. So yeah, I've got a clock somewhere. Earlier I spilt fucking coffee all over my desk, which kind of knocked me back a bit. I mean, it went all over my mouse pad, so I've got a massive new one now, which I had from when I used to game every day. It's like a massive desk-sized one, so I'm using that now. And then I've got my keyboard, which I somewhat cleaned, but it's not easy. It's not an easy job cleaning a keyboard. Like, you've got to take all the keys off and shit. So I just kind of got at it with a flannel and soap, and then like a bit of antibacterial shit just to get rid of that horrible milky coffee smell, which gives me throwbacks to like English teachers. You know what I mean? Like the English teachers with fucking coffee breath, like teachers at school. Awful fucking smell. Awful. So sorted that out. But yeah, as I say, I'm gonna get up, make sure I have 8 hours sleep. So it's currently 43 minutes past 12. So I'm going to go to bed at 1 a.m. I'll improve that as the week goes on. What I'm gonna do is, once I've got past a certain thing, I'm gonna go for like a streak of getting up at an early time, to which that might be 5 a.m, 6 a.m, 7 a.m. I think 7 a.m is too easy. It's not going to be as thing, because if I'm keeping myself accountable on here, I'm going to start posting posts when I wake up, as like a YouTube post, if you know what I mean, like a community post, and then I'll have proof of that every day for as long as I do it for. Now, it's going to sound naive, and obviously I need to prioritize my goals, but this is another example of sports getting in the way. But if you use it intentionally, it's not as bad, right? But Seattle are playing the 49ers on Thursday night, and I am a big NFL fan. I know it sounds weird because I've got an English accent, but I mean, I've always been in America. Like, my dad works there like 6 months a year, 3 to 6 months a year. So I've always flown out to see him every year. I know it sounds bad. I say this all the time, but I mean, yeah, I've been to what, 34 states. I'm fucking lucky. I know I'm so privileged. I'm so privileged, and that's why I know I have a problem of getting out of my comfort zone, because I've had such a good upbringing that it's so easy to just be in a comfort zone, because I'm so like set as like not financially, but like, if everything goes wrong, I'm still going to be sat here at this desk regardless of how much money I'm making. So it's an easy comfort zone to fall into, because I'm so privileged in that regard. But anyway, as I say, I'm a big NFL fan, and I mean, there's only 17 matches a year, but 18 game weeks. So yeah, Thursday night it obviously starts at 1 a.m. So as long as I prioritize my time Thursday night, I wake up, I go to bed then. So that's I know that's bad, because it's holding me back from doing this little early wake up challenge. But I think after that, let's say, because I never watch the late matches ever unless my team are playing in them ever. So, and that only the primetime matches, that only happens like twice a year, 3 times a year. It depends on the match, right? But yeah, I'm just gonna wake up at, I think I might go for 5 a.m. I saw a thing that said, if you want to sort your waking up time, you say you want to wake up at 5 a.m. What you do for the first week is you wake up at 4 a.m. and then 5 a.m. starts to feel like a lion. So I might try that. I don't know. I'll see. But what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to do it come Monday next week. So not this week coming. I know it's Sunday today. Monday the week after, purely because of the football. I know it sounds bad. I know I'm putting the football before my wake up time. It's bad. So maybe I could, but I don't know. I could be being naive. I might completely change my mind and be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to wake up at 5 a.m. Tomorrow I'm obviously not going to, because it's currently 1 a.m, but I need to completely sort my schedule out. I've had previous experience of waking up at like 5 a.m. and I'm the most productive thing. You get so much shit done before, let's say, 10 a.m. or 9 a.m., which is the normal time that I wake up. Like, I've already had 5 a.m. You wake up, I get out of bed, have a shower, get a coffee. By like 5:30, 6 latest, you're working, and then by, let's say, 9 a.m. you've already put 3 hours of deep work in, which, if you want to actually maximize the deep work, you can get so much shit done in 4 or 5, like 3, 4, 5 hours if you actually get your head down and focus on what you're meant to be working on. Whereas I think a lot of people in like 9 to 5 jobs, because they're working in these 9 to 5 jobs, they do the bare minimum that's not going to get them fired. Just literally the bare minimum that's not going to get them fired. That's literally all they do. There's no real time like, my mind's gone blank. There's no real outcome to putting in extra hours at a job to get an extra promotion of whatever. Unless you're desperate for money at that time, which obviously maybe that makes sense because you need the money. There's no real perk to putting in extra hours at a job, like overtime, to just try and get a promotion. I don't think most people just get jobs and they do the bare minimum to not get fired. Obviously there's exceptions, but whereas when you're working for yourself, you use the time set for you, let's say 3, 4, 5 hours. If you use it intentionally, you go fucking ham because it's all on your shoulders. Whereas the people that do 8-hour shifts, it's like, who gives a fuck? 8-hour shifts, you can probably get the amount of work done that you do in those 8-hour shifts in like an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. But because it's an 8-hour shift and you get paid for those 8 hours, as long as you do the bare minimum that's expected for you that day, that's all people do because they live for the weekend. So I know it sounds like I'm talking like I'm so much better than everyone else, and I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is my perspective is I want to use my time intentionally, and I know if you use your time and actually work on the thing that you intended to work on for a set period of time, you can get so much shit done. So yeah, I think it's purely because there's an outcome for me working for myself on a specific thing than there is for someone working a different job for someone else. There's minimal outcome that comes from going ham on what it is they're doing, you know. So that's the difference, and that's why people are motivated. I'm motivated to do it, and they wouldn't be. So I'm not saying that I'm better than them, but I'm in a position to which the time that I put in is more valuable than the extra time they put in. I know that, again, that sounds egotistical, but I think you can kind of understand what I'm getting at. So yeah, as I say, I've gone on a complete tangent. If I'm waking up at 5, working at, let's say, 5:45, 6 a.m, I'm going to get so much stuff done by like 10 a.m, 9, 10 a.m. I'm going to feel so much good, so good about my day by that time, because I'm like, I've already had a massive win that morning. So then I'm like, okay, I'll go to the gym. I've already done all the work. You get to like 6 p.m, I'm like, oh fuck, I feel like I haven't done anything today. Wait a minute, hold on. 12 hours ago, I was fucking grinding. So yeah, and you can almost fit like 2 days of work in there. If you go from like, let's say 6 until 10, which is 4 hours, and then you chill from like 10 until 2, maybe even 3, and then you work again from 3 until 6. That's a 7-hour work day, but you've had a massive 5-hour gap in the middle to just like chill and like regain some energy to fit in another few hours of deep work. So I mean, there's so many ways you can do it. It's just about working your way around it and actually sticking to the time that you set yourself to work, rather than getting distracted here and there during those 4 hours, to which those 4 hours are not going to be as productive as they could be. So that's what I find. It's like social media, you think, oh yeah, I only spend a bit of time here, I only spend a bit of time here, but it accumulates so much, whether it be on your computer, on your phone, whatever. It accumulates so much, and it's just the distraction to take you from the thing that you're working on. And also, it just wastes so much time. Like, if you put all of the time that you spend on social media, and think about it like this, how much value do you actually gain from social media? Yes, you may learn a few things from some Instagram reels, but in general, you could much more intentionally learn from putting your time into something that's valuable, like reading a book, or watching an intentional video, or listening to an intentional podcast on a topic that you actually know is valuable to where you are in life, rather than just listening to some motivational shit by this bald guy with a beard that owns some Bugattis. Like, it doesn't help you as much as something that you're trying to learn intentionally would. So it's just a kind of an excuse. I feel people say they learn they learn a lot from Instagram Reels, when in reality, it's an easy way of getting dopamine, and because they get easy dopamine from it, and they think it's being somewhat productive because they get a bit of value from it, it's like, yeah, I'll just do this for the next 2 hours. But if you think of it in hindsight, there's so many other things you could be doing. And I'm talking because this is a problem I have, and I've got to say, I am naively not practicing what I preach here to an extent. I'm trying my best to do so, but I'm preaching it to you, one, because it ingrains it in my head, and two, because I think it provides value to you guys, and three, it just holds me accountable because I know I'm not perfect. I don't want to sit here on this series and say, yeah, mate, I'm perfect. I wake up at 5 a.m. I work from 6 a.m. until about 2 p.m. and then I have an hour's break, and then I work again from 3 p.m. until about 7, and then I go to bed. I'm not going to say I'm a fucking killer like that, because I'm not, but don't get me wrong, I'd like to be, but it's not feasible. Maybe it is feasible, but it's my current state is not, and I know I'm putting a barrier on myself, but just slowly working my way up, man, and just realizing what my issues are and fixing them. Simple as that. So again, as I say every single video, I mean, literally last video was the same topic, but it's using your time intentionally. Yeah, you set half an hour to go on social media, cool. And then when that half an hour's up, you finish on social media. And by that time, you're going to have covered everything that your brain's subconsciously telling you to do on your phone to check social media. Like, whether it be messages, whether it be a little fucking scroll on your timeline, whatever it may be. But your brain, even though when you finish that time, your brain's going to still tell you to go on it. But if you can tell your brain and teach your subconscious mind that the only time that I use my phone is at this time for this amount of time, then slowly you're gonna enter the real world. I know it sounds like, again, cliche, because I know another person uses this quote, but you're gonna enter the real world of like not using your phone, because your phone is like an escape from the real world, right? But if you enter the somewhat real world, you're like, okay, I can go on a walk here, I can read a book here, I can do this. And so many people want to have this life of watching these, like, reading books. That, like, if you could sit here and close your eyes and think of your perfect life, you would go on walks every day, you would read books every day, you would do this stuff with your family every day, you'd do this, you'd go to the gym, you'd maybe do random shit that moves you forward in life. But because it doesn't bring you instant gratification and instant results, then it's much easier to just go on your phone. And that's the same problem everyone fucking has, and I have the same problem. But if you wanted your dream life, you understand what your dream life is, you can then work towards having it. And that's why I'm doing this series, because I'm kind of like realizing, I'm kind of thinking out loud almost, and realizing what the issues are. Mate, my hair is fucked. I need a haircut. I'm going to get a haircut soon. Realize what the problems are, and you go and fix them. Simple as that. But yeah, as I say, you picture your perfect life of whatever it may be, working for a certain period of time, using spending time with your family, reading books, even watching movies with family, just anything that's just, as long as it's intentional, and you're going to move. First of all, you're going to be much happier, I think, because you're actually going to be moving forward towards your goals, but also you're going to be doing what you set out to do, and because of that, you're again going to be happier, but you're going to actually achieve your goals, or at least get closer to them. And if you're working like that every single day, day in, day out, I feel like it's almost impossible for you to fail, So yeah, I was talking to my friend about it the other day, the fear of failure, and I think it's a big barrier for a lot of us, because although we know it's likely that we'll succeed if we do this thing for a certain period of time, it's not 100%, and because it's not 100%, we therefore don't do it, and we use that as an excuse. So yeah, I mean, like right now, I would my like passion, my dream above anything else would be to be a professional tennis player. But I know how hard it is. I'm just focusing on the negatives, which is a bad thing, but I know how hard it is to become a professional tennis player, first of all. I know how much competition there is. I know what you've got to dedicate to it, and you're going to have to go all in. There's nothing else you're going to be able to do. To which, if it doesn't work, I've then spent, let's say, I'm also 20 now, so it's probably a bit late anyway, but I've then going to have spent, let's say, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years of my life trying to get to this goal of tennis. And if it doesn't work out, I've wasted 8 years of my life on this thing. And yes, I mean, I'm trying to fulfill my purpose, so it makes sense. But it also comes to a point of there's other things that I want to achieve in my life too, which is I want to be financially free, to which I can kind of do whatever I want. I'm not asking for fucking millions on millions on millions, but I'm asking for enough to just like, if I had a family and I wanted to take them on holiday for a week in a week's time on short notice, or I had a girlfriend or I had a wife that I just want to go, okay, let's go here for a week, let's go skiing. Like, why don't we go skiing? Why don't we do this? You know, just stuff like that, and having the time freedom to do that too. That is my goal. And if I get to the age of 28, to which we're looking at having kids at like 30, 31, 32, I personally I want kids quite a lot. So maybe even earlier than that. I don't know. I don't want to kind of waste my younger years. But then again, there's so many different like counter opinions to everything I'm talking about, because I look at everything from both perspectives. I'm like, right, I could be saying this, but the guy behind the camera is going to be thinking something completely different. It's going to be thinking, what a fucking idiot, what is this guy talking about? So I just kind of like try and look at it neutrally and look at both sides of it and understand why someone would think this, why I think this, and then put them both together. But yeah, as I say, I'm thinking out loud. But yeah, I've completely gone off topic, but the point is, the fear of failure, we all have this fear of failure, and we have fear of putting all this time into this one thing and it not working. But I think what you've got to understand, especially with business, if you go ham on a business model for, let's say, 2 years and it doesn't work, the amount of wisdom and knowledge you've gained from that is crazy. Like, most people fail. Everyone fucking fails at something. But it's about overcoming those failures and using and looking at the positives from that and what you've learned from that and what you won't do again to then move you forward. It's like, how many people have you seen, these internet gurus that talk about shit and they say, oh yeah, I fucked up here, this is where I fucked up, this is where I fucked up, this is how you can't, this is what you shouldn't do, this is what you should do. Because they've learned that information from failures. So yes, failures are obviously not nice, but they're almost mandatory for you to getting to where you want to get to. Because if you don't have those failures, then, I mean, it's just going to be... I almost feel like it's not possible. It's not possible. There's obviously going to be dark days, and it's how you overcome those dark days and realize what the issues were that made those dark things arise in the first place that makes you who you are, right? So yeah, I mean, I think the best way to look at this is also, you've got business and you've also got relationships. And I'm not one for relationships. Like, I don't, obviously I am one for relationships, don't get me wrong. But in the regards to, I haven't had many of them. What? Because first of all, I'm trying to like focus on myself like in general, and learn and figure things out, and being a point to which I am capable to be in a relationship, like financially, and also mentally. I feel like I'm getting there mentally. I know it might sound egotistical, but I want to be a person to which I am like almost stoic, but just kind of smart, and this is hard to explain. I don't even know if I should talk about this. Nah. What I mean is, I feel like a lot of people just, I don't want to say naively get into relationships, but a lot of people allow their urges to allow them to get into relationships. But because they're not younger people like my age, I'm not saying I'm better, but what I am saying is a lot of people my age get into relationships because of their urges. I'm not going to go into depth on that, but you understand what I'm talking about. They don't get into relationships because of what the relationships bring. Up on top of that, right? Of the woman bringing value to the guy bringing value to the woman, etc., etc. I'm really butchering this explanation, but what I want to do is be in a state of, I know how to figure out my own stuff. I know how to look after them. I know how to do everything in between. I know how to kind of just be the best boyfriend I can, basically. And with that comes dating someone that I would want my daughter to be. You know? Like, if I'm having a daughter, if I want to date someone that I want my daughter to be like. I don't want to date someone that I think that if my daughter was like that, I'd be like, nah, I failed as a father, you know? So I have high standards in that regard. I don't want to date, because I'm not going to go in depth on it here, but like the current state of the world, a lot of the girls my age are just, they've almost, how do I say this in a nice way? Like, because there are so many options on social media, to which girls see all these different options in comparison to, let's say, 50 years ago, where the only people you would meet, the only guys you would meet is people in bars, people at work, people in your local town, you know? Because there's so many options and people are like, you see all these crazy successful guys. I don't know if you've seen those TikTok clips of girls saying, yeah, I want a guy who earns at least 6 figures. I want this, I want this, I want this. Because they've seen the amount of options that are out there. They've seen the people that are out there. And they're like, why would I be dating this guy when there's people like this out there, you know? So that's why so many girls have such high standards in that regard, because they're like, why would I want this guy? If you're just looking at it from a neutral perspective, you haven't got an example of a guy that isn't necessarily making 6 figures, but he's like perfect in every regard other than that. They're sat there from a neutral perspective, just like, okay, I'm looking over everyone that I could date. I want one of these guys who's making a lot of money. I don't want one of these guys who's working this whatever job, doing the whatever stuff, whatever, goes drinking whatever. So the amount of options that are out there is crazy, because they've seen every single part of the spectrum. So their standards have gone higher, and also because of social media and stuff, I'm not going to get in depth, but the standard of, I was talking about this the other day, I don't want to get controversial, but then again, if you get controversial, that's how you get views. That's how a certain person with a Bugatti got famous recently, because he just completely stated the most far opinions ever. And that's because it pissed people off, people agreed, and then they fought and they spoke under his name, and that's why I got famous. Simple as that. It's unreal marketing. But the point is, yeah. How do I say this in a nice way? I think you know what I'm kind of trying to get at. But mate, my hair, I need a haircut bad. I keep seeing it, it's like flat, but whatever. Yeah. I'm literally just thinking out loud again. But since, let's say, 50 years ago, because of all this hookup culture and university and social media and stuff, and again, due to the amount of options that people see and the amount of people can meet, and how you can contact so many people via social media nowadays, whereas back in the day you'd have to do it in real life. So it was a lot harder to have, let's say, a high body count, because you had to meet them and actually speak to them in real life. You couldn't do it over text and then just meet up with them, right? So it's a lot harder then. So it's a lot easier to have random hookups now. So which the value of Go is going significantly down, to the regard of a lot of them have a lot less self-respect for themselves, I think. And I don't know how to explain this in a nice way. There's no real good way of explaining it, but I think you can kind of get what I'm getting at. Like, I'd rather not, put it straight, I'd rather not wife a girl who's got a body count of 20, you know? So say it's that kind of idea. That's basically what I'm getting at, in all just summarized. So yeah, it's hard to find a girl that's kind of valuable like that. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of them out there. There are. But you've just got to get that person. I don't go around dating random people. I don't actually know how I've got onto this topic, but I feel like it's somewhat relatable to a lot of people watching this video. So there we are. I can't actually remember how I got on this topic. It's probably something that I can relate back to. Oh yeah, it was fear of failure. That kind of stuff. So yeah, I just want to sort myself out first to an extent before I get into a relationship. Don't get me wrong. If the right girl comes, I'm there for it, you know. But all in all, I'm not going out there searching. I'm not searching left, right, and centre like desperately. But if they come, they come, you know. So that's how I see it. I don't really know how this relates to my 10k a month goal, in all honesty, but you know, that's the kind of thing that happens when you're 37 days in and you've got to keep talking to a camera. So, so yeah. Other than that, tomorrow I need to stop talking. I need to go to bed because I need to get 8 hours sleep. I need to regenerate my workout this morning and get a good amount of sleep. But on that note, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up, literally gonna get 8 hours sleep, get straight out of bed. Fuck it, we all get straight out of bed, have a shower, coffee, straight to work. Boom, get everything done that's on my non-negotiables list that has to be done. And then once I do that, or I go to the gym before I go, I think I'm probably just gonna have a coffee, but I'll fast until I fast until I finish my workout, regardless of the time of day that I do it. And then once I get home, then I have Greek yogurt with protein powder and a banana and raw honey, whatever, and I have a half a pint of raw milk. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, I'm probably, depending on what time I wake up, I'm either gonna work or go to the gym. I'll probably work first, then go to the gym. I just won't eat until after the gym, and I finish the gym. Then, if hopefully I've got everything, all of my non-negotiables done by that point, to which I can then focus on other things when I finish that, when I finish the gym. And I won't call it shallow work because it's still deep work, but it's not mandatory. It's stuff that I can somewhat chill on, but it's still important, right? So we do that. We get to the end of the day, and I either I just slowly tone it down and then go to bed. Simple as that. But again, the most valuable thing I can do is outreach at the moment, and then also set up other things. And hopefully there will be a YouTube video out on this channel soon that isn't me talking to a camera like a podcast. But with that said and done, it's been 32 minutes of me talking about relationships. Thank you for watching. I don't think there's much more I need to talk about, but yeah, I'll be back live tomorrow night. Be back recording tomorrow night. Thank you for watching, and as I say, I'm gonna get to 5 a.m. I'm gonna do a 5 a.m. challenge for however long I want to do it. I'll say a week, minimum a week, but we'll go, and I'll put a post out. But you know, with that said, it's using time intentionally and getting out of bed as soon as I wake up. Simple as that. As long as I've had the sufficient amount of sleep. Unless I'm waking up at a stupid fucking time, to which I don't know I'm going to bed so late. So, yeah, using time intentionally and doing one thing at a time. Simple as that. Anyway, that's said and done. Thank you for watching, boys. Day 37, day 38 tomorrow. We're moving. But yeah, I'm learning. Thank you for listening if you're still watching. And I hope my little rant about girls is somewhat relatable. Anyway, thank you for watching, and yeah, see you tomorrow night. Cheers.